Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today is the 9th day of SikhRI's Vaisakhi countdown. As we come upon commemorating the birth anniversary of the Khalsa, while we go at the same time to that moment when Guru Sahib asked for the cease, and we can only imagine the feelings, the emotions, what was in the souls of the minds and the hearts of the five beloveds. But what I can tell you in reality for myself, when I took Khande Ki Paul, the feeling that came through me was an ultimate sense of humility. And that sense of humility was shared. It was shared with the Sangat who was sitting there at the time in the Darbar taking the Khande Ki Paul at the same time. And everyone who was present felt the special blessings of Guru Sahib and the five beloveds. And in that sense of common sense of humility, knew that they wanted to take that forward in their lives, both personal and Panthic. While I've been thinking a lot about that impact, that moment, that sense of humility across the last 25 years plus in my life, I can convey to everyone today that sense of humility is what keeps my relationships in a good place in the human world, both the personal and the Panthic world. Whenever I lose humility and ego takes over, I think I'm smarter than someone else, I think that I'm better than someone else, those relationships become frayed, and that's true again for personal and Panthic. We need to take a look at the fact that we are having frayed Panthic relationships across the board, and in today's world, especially after COVID, frayed personal human relationships, and see where we've lost that sense of humility, which has led to those negative impacts of our relationships. We all talk about it. We all feel it when we're with one another. And we sense it, and we see it across the board in our family relationships that are broken, our community relationships that may be broken, and also in the Panthic relationships that are broken. And the reason those aren't getting better in many cases is because we haven't always maintained that sense of humility. Maintaining that sense of humility allows us to building compassion and understanding and kindness. And when we look at the Khalsa, we only look at the warrior feeling, the warrior sense of the Khalsa. But the warrior also needs to be one that's within, not just outside. What we need to look at is how are we impacting our relationships through that common humility, through that common compassion, through that common understanding and kindness, so that we can feel an enhanced sense of spiritual belonging, spiritual togetherness, both within ourselves and our Guru, and within ourselves and our Panth. One of the things we need to think about during this Vaisakhi is this all takes effort and building upon weaknesses that we have and acknowledging those weaknesses so we can build a strong relationship with ourselves and the Guru. I'm also sharing this reflection because at the Panthic level, I see more and more organizations that don't get along with one another rather than ones that do. Building collaborations and building bridges and building teams with across Panthic organizations is something we've not been able to do. And a lot of that has to do with ego and our lack of sense of humility. We think we're all smarter than the person whom we're sitting next to. We need to go back to why we why we became the Khalsa, that common sense of humility that we felt at that moment, and what can we do in our lives to help build greater compassion, understanding, and kindness from that humility that the Khalsa bestowed upon us when we were blessed with Khande Ki Paul.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।